Hello and welcome to this broadcast. Today, I want to talk about the concept of being everywhere. We've heard of this concept before. It got very popular by a well-known blogger by the name of Pat Flynn. And he's one of those guys who really knows how to attract an audience. And so we want to be able to attract an audience of subscribers. And there's a way that we can get more subscribers. And one of those is through content syndication. Now, when I'm talking about content syndication, I'm mostly talking about blogging and also podcasting. And lastly, well, I'm going to save that for later. Oh, let's get started talking about content syndication for blogging. So I'm going to look over on my notes here. Actually, this is a blog post, and I'll give you the link to the blog post. And this is one that I wrote a while back, but I updated it recently, put nice, beautiful image on there, thanks to my designer, who is Chanel Monique from Lighter Creative. And so when I got the artwork in from her, I said, you know what? I need to make sure all this content is tight and all up to date. And the good thing about it is I really didn't have to make many changes to it. I just added some content to just make it more rich based on the things that I've learned since I originally wrote the article. And so here's what's the important piece about content and content syndication and getting subscribers. It's something known as your RSS feed. You may have heard that terminology RSS feed before, but not really sure what it meant. An RSS feed is sort of technical, and you can hand code your RSS feed, but basically it is the vehicle that allows people to subscribe to your content. And when I say it's a vehicle, it's all the technical stuff, the HTML code behind the scenes, but you don't need to know any of it because blogging platforms like WordPress already have the feed built in. Even if you're on Blogger, you already have an RSS feed built in. There's other tools that can help you generate an RSS feed. But even if you have Squarespace, you also have an RSS feed. Now, if you have Weebly, I'm not sure, you better check the documentation. So why is it important to have an RSS feed, and how does that help you get subscribers? You've probably seen that little RSS feed logo that people will have at the top of their blog. For example, if you go over to either of my blogs, eileensmith.com or basicblogtips.com, you'll see that little logo that looks like an RSS feed up at the top in the profile bar. And what most people used to do years ago, we used to use Google Reader. Google got rid of that maybe about 4 years ago. And a lot of folks switched over to a tool called Feedly. And this is just a way that helps them to just consume content from popular blogs or blogs that they're interested in. For example, my RSS feed will probably show up in people who are curating content about blogging or about social media or about content marketing. So that's where you would find my RSS feed. And I see someone has joined me over here. I appreciate that for coming. Oh, hey, Patricia Ann, thanks so much for coming. So your RSS feed is something that you don't have to think about. It's typically built into your blogging software, and people use it to subscribe. Now, that's one way that you get subscribers, but you're saying, okay, well, how does that help me be everywhere? Because you can syndicate that RSS feed to other platforms. Let me give you an example. You probably heard of a tool called IFTTT, which stands for if this, then that. Well, that tool would take your RSS feed and it could send it out to Twitter every time you publish a new blog post. It would go out to Twitter or Facebook. You probably have what they call recipes inside that tool that would say, okay, every time there's a new piece of content, we'll distribute it over on LinkedIn. So that's just the beginning. So another way that you can take that RSS feed, like I said, this is free. It's going to come with your blogging software. If you have any questions, Patricia Ann, please type them in and do me a favor and share this out so folks will know that I'm live streaming. And so what you can do with that RSS feed is you can also use it on sites that promote your content. For example, I use mine on a site called Triberr. That's Triberr. If you head over to my blog, you'll see I've written about Triberr before. I've even had guest posts on my blog about it. We've even got an infographic about how 25 influencers use Triberr. And what you do, you get that RSS feed, you submit it over to Triberr, and then all the tribes that you belong to, all those people will see every time you post a new article. When they come to Triberr, they'll see it available to be shared on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, StumbleUpon, and LinkedIn. Okay, so that's how you kind of set it and forget it. You know, of course, you want to go over to Triberr and share other people's content as well, because, you know, we all have to reciprocate. We can't just expect that we're just going to be oh so high and mighty and people are going to want to share our content because we're just the greatest. No, you have to reciprocate. You know, you want to also always build community no matter what it is that you're doing. And so Triberr is one of those sites where you can use that RSS feed. And also another one is Viral Content Buzz. Now, Viral Content Buzz is not free for submitting the RSS feed, but it's a small fee. It's like maybe $10 a month or something like that. Blog Engage is another site that I've been using for years. You can get your content promoted there, and it works off of an RSS feed. So now I'm going to move on to another way the RSS feeds can help you be everywhere. And that is for a podcast. If you have a podcast, one of the technical definitions of a podcast is that you have an RSS feed. And an RSS feed, when it comes to podcasting, remember I said earlier, there's like little HTML code stuff that happens behind the scenes. And one of the things that it has to include for a podcast is something called an enclosure tag. That enclosure tag is what's used to deliver your media, which would be your audio file. If you have a video podcast, your video file, and actually even a PDF document would also serve as the media that could comprise or make up a podcast. So you can have your RSS feed. Now I'll tell you how I do it. I use a site called Libsyn. That's short for Liberated Syndication. And you can actually sign up for Libsyn if you're interested in podcasting, and you get your first month free if you use my friend Dave Jackson's code, which is SOP free. So Libsyn is one of those hosts because you need a host for your media files. You can't host your media files on your blog because then your hosting provider will get mad when your show gets popular. So you want to use a media host. So Libsyn is one, and they also provide you with a blog as well. Blueberry is another one, and that's Blueberry without the first E. The second E is there, but not the first E. Spreaker is another one. My friend Rob Greenlee, he's one of the vice presidents over there. And Spreaker is another tool. In fact, I was encouraging my friend Friar Wade, shout out to Friar Wade. I was encouraging Friar Wade to sign up for Spreaker, because Spreaker, oh, thank you so much for the present. Spreaker is another way that you can get your podcast. And what these services do, you'll upload your audio. I'll say audio file. Okay. It could be video, but not with Spreaker though. But let's just say you upload your audio file. They generate an RSS feed for your podcast. Now, a lot of times I hear people say, I want to upload my podcast to iTunes. Well, you can't. You can't. iTunes does not host your media. When I say host, I mean actually store your media on their servers. They don't do that. That's why you need a hosting provider like Libsyn or Blueberry or Spreaker. There's others out there, but those are the three that I like, and that's why I'm mentioning those three. But they generate that RSS feed for you that is iTunes compliant. Very important, because iTunes is picky. You know, Apple. They're Apple. So what you expect? They're going to be picky about stuff. So the RSS feed must be valid by their standards. And that RSS feed is submitted to iTunes. Okay, and that's how you get a podcast. Once they approve it, you know, they look at it and they say, oh, okay, this is good. This is a real podcast. Okay. So I just gave you a little education about podcasting. But with that RSS feed, you can now take that, and like I said, you could go to Podbean, you could go to Podomatic, you can go to, I actually put mine up on Mixcloud. You know, you can be everywhere. A Stitcher Radio, which is another popular one that people are always talking about. So hang on, let me put my glasses on here. Oh, hey, Carlos. Hi. SoundCloud. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Wagner. Oh, great to see you here. And Wagner, just so you know, my name is pronounced as Eileen. I know I was in the audience on one of your shows and you were thinking it was Leanne, but that's okay. A lot of people make that mistake. Tell them Carlos is Eileen. Eileen. So SoundCloud also, and I'm glad you brought up SoundCloud because I keep forgetting to include them in this conversation. And they're important. And you know why? Because a lot of people are fascinated with the style of the player that SoundCloud has. And they also like the fact that you can leave comments at different timestamps within the particular file. But most podcast purists like myself and evidently Wagner don't like SoundCloud. Now I do put my files over there and you can use it as a backup, as a secondary place, just same way I use Spreaker. In other words, I use Spreaker, but I don't use that RSS feed for iTunes. I could use that RSS feed for something else. Like I said, I could put it into IFTT and have it syndicated. Let's say I had that one syndicated to LinkedIn because I already have Libsyn sending mine to Twitter. So there's all kinds of ways we can mix and match these RSS feeds so we can be everywhere. Honey, somebody said preach. Yes, amen, church. Okay, so it's really important. Not that you know how an RSS feed works, because it's super duper technical and I can't even explain it all to you. But it's important you know that you have one. It's important that you know that it's a powerful tool that can be used to promote your content and help you to what? Be everywhere. And guys, when I say everywhere, you know I'm not being literal. Y'all know when y'all saw that in the title, I said be everywhere. I don't mean be everywhere. I mean, have a distribution of your content on various platforms. Okay, because I know everybody can't be like myself. I sit here on Fire Talk, or I'm over there on Blab, or I'm over there on Huzzah, or I'm on YouTube. YouTube, that's a good segue because we didn't get a chance to talk about YouTube yet. Oh, hey, Robert. Thank you. Robert's in the house. Carlos in the house. Okay, so if you guys have any questions about RSS feeds, please, while I got my glasses on, type them in. Okay. Okay, YouTube. Now, I got to be very clear about this because you can generate an RSS feed for your YouTube channel. What? I didn't know that. You didn't know that, did you? Yes, you can. However, you cannot use that RSS feed for iTunes. And this is where some people get confused and they say, oh, you can podcast with your YouTube channel. Not yet. And I don't think that day will ever come. Here's why. Apple is very, very picky. We all know that, right? Apple's super, super picky, and they have specs and they have standards. And it just so happens coincidentally that a YouTube RSS feed doesn't comply with those standards. I wonder why. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they're competitors. I'm not sure. But anyway, guys, but you can still use that RSS feed. Because remember earlier I mentioned Triber. I actually syndicate my content to Triber from my YouTube channel. And I got this feeling somebody out here doesn't believe me. So it's a good thing that we have screen sharing here so I can show you. Because I hadn't planned to do this, but just remembering that I do have screen share, why not? So here is my Triber account. And a lot of you guys probably never saw Triber before. So this is a good opportunity for me to introduce you to the site. And you can actually join free. What I did was I actually bumped my account up and I pay like $10 a month. Sorry if screen sharing the wrong screen. I pay like $10 a month. And that lets me add extra RSS feeds in here. Because see, I have my two Twitter accounts. I have my basic blog tips. I have an old blog, Miss Eileen Speaks. Then notice Miss Eileen Speaks on YouTube. See that little RSS icon? I know it's kind of small here, but that's what it looks like. And then my eileensmith.com blog. Eileen, when you can scroll up to what I said earlier. Oh yeah, I saw you said you were embarrassed afterwards. I did see that, Wagner. Thank you. But if you have any questions, dear, please type them in. Yes, no problem. That's no problem. Like I said, a lot of people make that mistake. But hey, notice what we have here. And I will try to even make this bigger because I want you guys to see this. It's important. Because I know a lot of people probably just don't understand that you can use YouTube RSS feed. See, I have this as an RSS, and this little symbol over here, this looks like the RSS feed, but this is the Triber's indication that, okay, she's got a paid account. So I use my RSS feed from YouTube here to bring in my YouTube videos. So this is my particular account here. Okay. And all of these last few things that came in here were YouTube videos. Okay. And then this one is a blog post from Basic Blog Tips. Okay. But this is just my account, but this is what the stream looks like when you want to actually share. Now I'm going to scroll, zoom back out so you can see. This is where other people have submitted their blog posts. This is one of my buddies right here, Mike Alton. And not that these other folks weren't my buddies, but I knew him before Triber. And here's Laylock. She's very popular there. And this is, Ashley Fawkes. I love him to death. He started his podcast and I was his very first guest interview. So see, they're all using their RSS feed to get these in here for other people to share. And here, this is one. Nicholas is another person who had me on his podcast. So let me show you how it works. So I could just click this share button right there, and now it's going to automatically share that to my Twitter. But if I have, because I have more than one Twitter, if I wanted to share it to another Twitter, I could just go there and then open Buffer, or I could share it to my Facebook, my LinkedIn. Oh, Google Plus. I forgot Google Plus was on here. Stumble Upon, and Pinterest. Okay, guys. So that was just a quick tour of Triber. I'm not really trying to give a Triber tutorial. I have tons of them on my blog, and I also have them on my YouTube channel. I have tutorials on Triber, and you just submit your RSS feed. Of course, you do have to go back over to the community and engage with the community and all of that. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this, guys, is because I actually wrote a blog post, and let's go back to screen share again really quickly. And lucky me, even though this blog post was from 2012, this is really an evergreen topic. RSS feeds and content syndication really hasn't changed much at all. If anything, the only thing that's changed is that there's more places now that you can syndicate your content. And I wanted to also show you this because I wanted you to see this image here that my designer, shout out to Chanel Monique, she works over at Lighter Creative. And oh, there's another place you can share your RSS feed, Viral Content Buzz. And so she updated the images for me. And then this is another video that I've made that goes into these things. Oh yeah, that's one more. I'm glad I looked at that because that reminds me there's one more place that I forgot to mention that you can use that RSS feed. And that is with your email service provider. So every time you publish a new piece of content, let's say for Aweber, okay, because I use Aweber. And if you're interested in Aweber, you go over to eileen.aweber.com and you get 60 days for free. So they have something that's called a blog broadcast tool. And you just simply put your RSS feed in there and you tell Aweber how many lines you want to pull in. Let's say it's the first paragraph, it's the first 5 lines or whatever of that blog post, and that will go out to your subscribers. You can also tell how many you want to have in that feed before it goes out. So let's say you're publishing twice a week, but you only want that email to go out once a week. You can do that with Aweber. And like I said, it probably works with GetResponse and ActiveCampaign and ConvertKit and those other as well. So see, this is how you can build your subscribers by syndicating your content. There's a lot of other sites out that will let you syndicate your content. I believe the one is called Social Media Today or something like that, where you can just put your RSS feed and everything that's published on your blog will also be published on that site. But it'll say, originally published on, and it'll be your blog. And I won't be surprised if Medium has a feature there as well for publishers that, and it's probably a paid feature that you can bring in that RSS feed. So guys, I just wanted to share this information with you because like I said, with me writing a blog about blogging and social media, I have over 600 posts on my blog. And I got to be honest with you, some of them are outdated because things change. I've got things over there about Google authorship. I keep saying, oh God, I got to get rid of that post because it's not valid anymore. But RSS feeds haven't changed in years. I mean, I don't even know when it was invented. I know podcasters started using them around 2004. But they existed prior to that, probably around the time when HTML code was invented. The RSS feed was something that they thought of. This would be a great way for people to know when you have new content, and so It's evergreen content. It hasn't changed, guys. So that's why I asked my designer to give me some new images for it. And she did. And the post, all I had to do was just make a couple little tweaks to it just to freshen it up, because like I said, there's more tools out here we can use. So it's important for you as a content creator, if you're a blogger, if you're a podcaster, and even a YouTuber, you need to know about your RSS feeds.